All right, everybody, come on in, come on in. Happy New Year. It's 2025. Welcome back to another episode of the Let's Talk podcast with Maggie and Lucy. I'm Maggie, the substitute teacher. You may know me from my cooking channel. I make food and femininity content, but together, along with Lucy, we are the proud founders of the Finishing School for the Modern Woman. We just kicked off our winter 2025 session with more ladies who want to be the best version of themselves. Lucy and I are passionate about the older women teaching the young. And so that's what we do in the real world. And then twice a week, we come onto this virtual world with you all and we react to relationship content to give you all our perspective as to older women. So Lucy, please introduce yourself and let us know, what are we watching today?
Hello, everyone. Happy New Year, Maggie. Happy New Year, all. Yes, I have a channel, a small channel, generally with content about femininity, elegance, and things that impact women of a certain age. But today's video is going to be interesting because I've been hearing this concept about so many women following social media to make extreme decisions, extreme life decisions. And this is something that's going to show us some of those examples. And maybe we could get young women to understand that social media is not real. Reality is real. And behaviors that are part of that world do not match with our world. Yes, TCM, the condemned man. Yes, I am going to stream it to my audience. I forgot to do it. So while Maggie is setting it up, I'm going just to go ahead and stream it to my audience.
It's not a stream unless it's a struggle stream. So kicking off the new year as we always do. So yes, Lucy and I are both older women and we remember a time before social media. And both of us are also immigrants coming from cultures where they are not confused about what real relationships are and how we are better together. So we're going to play this video. I took a slight glance at it. I think there's some colorful language. It's about a 30-minute video, so we will play it and then we'll pause, give our commentary. We always like to hear what you all say. So if you want to join the conversation, you can join us on YouTube, my channel, Maggie the Substitute Teacher, or Lucy's channel. And two disclaimers. So again, we support women who still believe in traditional gender roles in their youth, who want to prioritize marriage and family. If you want to do something different, that's totally fine. You probably just won't be happy over here. And then I have linked the video in the description. So if you want to watch it without our commentary, you are absolutely free to do that. So thank you, The Condemned. Our moderators are coming through. And thank you, Jurgen is here across the pond. All right, so I am going to mute myself and share my screen, and then we're going to get right into it. All right, the caption alone is just looking so lovely, but let me take it back to the beginning and we'll just play it from here.
Married. I long for the day to be single again. The only thing that's causing me to stick it out is because I've been a housewife for 10 years. And to get back out there in the workforce with a mental illness, some fears that I have. But I literally do hate being married.
Hey ladies, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, in honor of the holiday season, I know a lot of single women kind of get down on themselves and kind of feel like they're alone for being single throughout the holiday. So, that being said, I'm going to give y'all some insight on these happily married couples that y'all see on social media, okay? We're going to get into these women contemplating divorce, what's going on the inside of their marriage, annulments, all types of juicy stuff. So you can be thankful for where you are in this season. This video is really just a reminder that if you're single, this is exactly where you're supposed to be on anything. I know we get FOMO a lot with all these wedding pictures and seeing our peers, but this is going to clear that right on up, okay? I think most people are pretty honest enough with themselves to say they've dated someone that they probably shouldn't have dated. But a lot of people aren't vocal about saying, I married the wrong person. Like, you could easily say, I wish I never met my ex, but there's a lot of people, there's a lot of women that get married and feel that same way about their husbands. Let's get into it.
All right. I am actually mad, which is not an emotion that I have. This channel is, what is this video called? I've never even heard of this channel. The wives are barely making it. So ladies, you should enjoy being single. So the premise here is that a woman who told on herself, I don't know if y'all heard it, but I'm gonna tell you what I heard. This young woman is trying to encourage other women who are single around the holidays that they should not get down on themselves about being alone. You're not missing out on anything. How dare you? I think this is incredibly destructive, damaging, and selfish. This woman, whoever she is, and I do not know her, I'm seeing this content for the first time. This is the type of woman that, to soothe her own feelings of inadequacy, shortcomings, being single, relationships didn't work out, whatever. She's basically putting out content and spewing this poison to other women who are single and don't want to be. I understand and I accept relationships aren't for everybody. But you know what? There was a time when we were coming up that we heard, if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything. And the reason why I'm mad, not only is this a lie, because we are built to want to be loved and to love. To deny that denies our biology. We have a lot of modern women that are faking and acting like, oh, I don't care, it doesn't bother me. I can be, just like a dude. You cannot. And this type of woman is precisely the type of woman, let her find a man or let her be found by a man. Let her have a relationship that she is just, you will see the back of her head and the soles of her feet running towards her happiness while you have left this trail of tears and destruction. So young women, hear me. When you have these women that are pretending like everything's okay, if you heard what she said, I know sometimes we get FOMO looking at these wedding pictures. I know sometimes we get down on ourselves. That's the truth. She is single and doesn't want to be, but she is too prideful to admit it. Ladies, if you are in a season of singleness and you don't want to be, that is the time for you to get introspective. How did I get here? What am I doing or continuing to do that is repelling the type of men that I want? That is not the time to lie and put on this show and collect this montage of failed marriages to prove to yourself and others that, you know what, I'm actually happier being alone. And this is coming from a divorcee. Lucy and I are both divorcees, but we are probably the most pro-relationship women that you will find on this internet. So before I get worked up, it's a new year. I'm going to leave it right there. Lucy, what would you add?
I'm sorry, Maggie. I didn't know it was going to hit you that badly. But it's really sad that we are at this point where you have women that have no idea what it is to carry a positive, healthy relationship, telling women that probably have never had a relationship on how great it is to be without that important man in your life. The first woman, the way she starts the video with the F-bomb on the first, caption is just really sad. And in my mind, she's talking about herself, how things are not going to be work out for her, and she brings out the mental health portion. And in my mind, I'm thinking, what about the man? What about the man that chose you after probably all of the signs he saw, all of that bad behavior, that chose to marry you? You are throwing stones at this man? Are you serious? Are you saying that this man is not providing you the life that you want because of your mental health? And then the second lady is just, it's so sad how these young women are following social media and creating their own picture of what a relationship is without being exposed to the real beauty of having that wonderful man next to you. Relationships can be tough. They are tough. Be prepared for that because it's two different personalities. But to take them from being with somebody that adores you, that chose you, to then say that, it's better to be single, it's very sad. Sunkiss, thank you so much. A lot of westernized churches promote this ideology and no longer advocate for marriage and family. I agree. The modern world is falling apart because we are not going back to tradition and appreciating what those traditions brought to the overall society.
Absolutely. And another thing, I'm going to go off again. I was trying to calm down. Lucy, I was upset with the content creator, whoever she is, that's making this ridiculous video. And yes, I said it is ridiculous. But that woman who fixed her mouth to get on the internet to say, I F-bomb hate being married. I'm going to tell y'all, mean old mister will say, I'm going to help you mean what you say. You're going to sit here and tell the world and everybody that you hate being married. You have a man who provides for you. Did you hear her when she said, I'm a housewife? So you are basically being provided for, but you want to get out here in the work world and be part of the machine. Fine, have it your way. Then you also fixed your mouth to tell everybody that the only reason that you're staying in this marriage that you hate is because you have a mental illness. And like Lucy said, this man knows that about you and is protecting you from yourself. You think you're going to come out here in this work world with your mental illness and whatever struggles that come along with that, and somebody's going to care for you, or they're going to chew you up, grind you up, spit you out, and let you fix it. Ladies, I promise you, all the women in my age group that have given themselves to whatever these big jobs are, I think that is what's going to sustain them. They get to a certain point in life and they're just like, what was it all for? I think that is incredibly disrespectful to her husband. I think if you are going through challenges, I have said it before, the last place that you need to come cry on is the internet for the world to see, because the internet is forever. And I'm going to say it. I hope her husband sees this video, and I hope he helps her mean what she said. All right. Let me try and get it together. And again, thank you, Sunkissed, for the $4.99. We appreciate it so much. Let's go back in here and see what else is going on.
Explain to me what you mean by marriage is hard.
It's literally right.
Being pregnant after 5 miscarriages and having this miracle baby, and then walking out of the hospital with a $20,000 bill because my husband at the time refused to acknowledge me on his insurance. So those were, just the consistent.
You said refuse to acknowledge you on the insurance. Explain that to me. What are you talking about?
So for punishment of not naming his son a junior, he refused to confirm me during discharge as his wife on his insurance.
Speaking with a girlfriend the other day about divorce, and she was asking me, when was one of the first signs that I knew something was wrong with my marriage? And I have this memory so heavily imprinted on my brain. I can still feel it to this day, and it sounds so weird. It was the middle of the night. We were both asleep. And in the middle of the night, my ex, while he was asleep, grabbed me from behind for a spoon hug in bed. It was like one of those really good big bear hugs in bed. And that sent me like electricity through my body. I've never in that marriage experienced such joy than when he hugged me in that moment. And he was asleep and he wasn't doing it intentionally. And that joy and elation carried me through the week. I was walking on cloud 9 because of that hug. And I kept thinking about it, and I started thinking, like, in hindsight, obviously, why am I so excited about a simple hug when he was unconscious? That's how little I had the affection that I needed. And it kind of clicked. I was like, that tiny little absolute nothing moment ended up being the best thing in my marriage that week. And that incident is what made me start kind of taking inventory of my relationship and taking a really hard look at it and realizing all the holes that were in my marriage. Okay, calm down. I did not divorce him because of the hug. It was years after that we ended up getting divorced. But it was just one of those things that kind of started getting my brain thinking. We all kind of have those like domino moments, don't we? Where something happens that makes us start thinking about all these other things that we need to be thinking about. Like you've woken up and you can now actually see your relationship for what it is. Anyways, it's such a random moment, but I've never forgotten that feeling.
You could be thankful for where you are.
All right, so it's gone from bad to worse. These women, it's just, as a boy mom, I just, and I don't get upset easily, but ladies, if you look for trouble, you're going to find it. What a beautiful moment that your husband, when unconscious, something about him just wants to hold you. How many single women have nobody holding them, or holding onto a pillow, or crying themselves asleep at night? How many single women wish that somebody was emotionally invested in them? You had that. I'm talking about this last woman who just spoke. But instead of appreciating what you had and realizing how beautiful and pure that was, your mind decided to say, oh, if this is the best, I must be lacking in all these other areas. How dare you? Selfish, ungrateful. I hope when you are my age and realizing that nobody is giving you a bear hug from behind, you had that and you did not appreciate what you had and you lost it. Now, people get divorced for all kinds of reasons, but I just think it says a lot about the mindset, about the entitlement, about the character of a woman who gets something nice, a gift. And instead of being thankful for that gift, you start to realize, oh, this is all that I have? There should be so much more. Shame on you. I said it. The first video that we looked at, I think this woman was going through her house. It was a little bit all over the place, getting upset about paper towel dispenser, clothes on the floor, all of these random things. Again, you can choose to look at the glass half full or half empty. You can say, you know what? Yes, the clothes are on the floor next to the hamper, but he was getting up, rushing to go into work to provide for us. Yes, the paper towel dispenser is empty, but you know what? I opened my utility closet and I got a 12-pack here. How nice is it to just go refill it quietly? I have a home that I can care for. I have somebody that, I'm married to, that I live with, that for me, it's a reminder of having someone in your life. You can leave everything pristine and be by yourself. That's an option too. Ladies, men today are not going to fight you to be alone. They will happily let you be by yourself. It's really unfortunate. So again, young ladies, don't believe it. What would you add, Lucy?
It's so interesting because my sisters and I, we got together not too long ago. I think it was a couple of days ago. And we were talking about each of our husbands And we're talking about the great qualities that that my brother-in-law, all my brothers-in-law, and each the men in our families have. And that is something that we have made it a point to do when we get together, instead of looking at because we women can create a story out of the few negative things that we can find that the men do because you know what, they're in task mode. And that's another thing that I saw on the first one, where she was putting screenshots of some things that were not completed, tasks that were not completed, because again, that shows me that she hasn't taken the time to understand the men, how men work. Men are usually on task mode. The reason that he left that cream cheese on the counter is because he was thinking about something else that he needed to do, but he's going to get back to it whenever. That's where we women come in and take care of those little things. Okay, he left it there, put it back in the refrigerator. The toilet paper, it happens all the time. Okay, we get the new toilet paper and we put it back. She was making such a big deal of the little things. Do you think that man has not seen some of the bad behavior that she has, and he just oversees it? He does his thing, and the beautiful thing about men is that they're not resentful. They don't keep those little things that we do every day that probably annoys the heck out of them. They just put it away. They just look at us as an entire entity, and the entity that it's making their world beautiful for them. We are so unappreciative of our men, and this is a video that shows how disrespectful and the lack of appreciation that we have for what they do for us in our own homes, because these are, I guess, I don't even remember. I sent this video a long time ago, and I saw the first one. I said, this one, we're going to react to this one. So we're both reacting at something that we haven't even seen. And it's just, we need to get back to understand that we each bring something good to the world. Stop just vilifying the other side just because they're different than us.
Exactly. Yes, we are hot like fire. And y'all, this is why I don't like that word partner. Use it or don't use it. It's fine. But you see, this attitude that these women are having is basically they're expecting a man to behave in a way that I would. Well, I would replace the toilet tissue if I used the last bit of it. Okay, fine, then go do that. Again, this is not the hill that you want to die on. And I'm so sick of these women putting their business out for the world to see. And ladies, again, you're making yourselves radioactive. You're lucky you have a man that tolerates this foolishness. But if you find yourself deservedly single, this is what men are going to look at and be like, oh, okay, this is how she reacts when she doesn't get her way. No, not even going to tolerate it. We have another super chat from Next Level, and then I want to see what you all are saying in the comments. Next Level with the $10. Thank you so much. He says, 2025, peace and blessings. The Holy House of Femininity is back. I got to pay my tithes. These modern women are already starting the foolery. Lay hands, ladies, lay hands. Goodness. And Erin Laura has been supporting for 30 months. Oh my goodness. She says, good afternoon, Maggie, Lucy, and class. Happy New Year. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for the support, our moderators and all of y'all. All right. So let's see what you all are saying in the chat. Then I'll take a breather and go back in. So Kadem says, we're in here. Yes, absolutely. And the host who put this video collection together is looking forward to seeing people fail. And I think it just goes to the selfishness. I'm going to call it. I think she wants to make herself feel better, but she's doing that and laying carnage as she goes. I think it's tragic. Gillis is in the house. Thank you so much for being here. Yes, I started on a whip. Y'all love it. You Miss Kid and Play, Thelma and Louise, Ebony and Ivory. We have so many names here. Maggie and Lucy, Maggie Lou. Yes, peace and blessings, everyone. Hello, Rebecca's in the house. Gillis says, I think these women are being encouraging to those that are single during the holidays and may feel down. There are ways to do that without false advertisement and fake newsing things. Ladies, here's the thing, and I'm going to say it again. We are not here for your happiness. You are not supposed to be happy all the time. I don't know what this is that we're supposed to be like catered to. Sometimes the holidays are great. Sometimes they're not. Sometimes you're in a relationship. Sometimes you're not. But it's not for us to look at other people's failures to make ourselves feel better. Sometimes you just need to sit in it. Sometimes you just need to ask yourself, how did I get here? Why am I going through another year alone? What am I doing? Why are we looking at everybody else's dirty laundry? Why don't we examine ourselves and say, what am I doing that I can't keep a man? If that's important to you, if you want to be single, stay single. And, I don't want to use bad words, but shut the front door. Just do your own thing, but don't be poisoning other people. All right, let's see what else y'all are saying. The condensed says we're checking the unruly women in 2025, getting them in line. Somebody's got to say it, because ladies, I'm telling you, you're not helping yourselves, and you're really not helping other women. You're doing damage. Jurgen says hopefully that husband will see that and draw a consequence. I agree. I cannot even imagine coming back from something like this, but. All right, let's see what else y'all are saying. Then we're going to go back in. Y'all like the preaching. I didn't mean to, but here we are. And Jurgen says, and then these women are surprised that men keep their distance. Precisely. These are the main women that say men don't approach. There are no good men. Dating is trash. I wonder why. Oh, my goodness. All right. So, yeah, we got that fire. Let's go back in. See what else is in this video.
My brain thinking. We all kind of have those like dominant moments, don't we, where something happens that makes us start thinking about all these other things that we need to be thinking about. Like you've woken up and you can now actually see your relationship for what it is. Anyways, it's such a random moment, but I've never forgotten that feeling.
Hiding in the closet again. So my husband told me that he feels like I've checked out of our marriage for the last year or so. But what he doesn't realize is that it's not that I've checked out of the marriage. I've checked out of being the emotional and mental quarterback, running back, defensive back, coach, owner of this entire marriage. And I really have. Like, I'm not doing that work anymore. I'm just trying to take all of that energy, that mental and emotional energy that I put into every aspect of our relationship for the last 17 years. And I'm taking it and I'm actually putting it back into me. And because I'm not like this superhuman person, I don't have enough for him. I don't have enough for me and him. And there's not enough room for both of us on the headboard. Now, because I'm a woman, of course, my tendency is to feel bad about it, especially when he expresses displeasure or sadness or feeling like I'm getting further away from him. I'm not doing that work anymore. And now he's like really noticing it. I explained to him too that like I'm on my therapy journey. I'm not happy, and I'm not blaming him. I'm taking ownership of it myself and saying, hey, I've got work to do. I've got things that I have to do to get my head right, to get my spirit right, to get my soul right. I want to make plans for myself. I want to do things that make me happy, make me feel good about myself. And the fact is, it hasn't always been this relationship. This relationship has drained the shit out of me. But when I try to explain it to him, it's like I'm speaking Chinese. Like, he doesn't understand what I'm saying because I did it for so long. Like, willingly and happily, I did all the planning for every aspect of our lives, everything that we've done. I'm always taking the first step. I'm always saying the first person to say I'm sorry. Like, I'm always taking the lead in that mental and emotional space since the beginning of the marriage. I mean, I get it. I know he's used to it. It's what he's comfortable with. But I can't do it anymore. Like, I just can't. I don't have enough for him. And I need to take care of myself. And of course I do feel bad, but I don't feel bad because I know I'm doing what's best for me. I matter. I'm a human being too. Actually, there's kind of a part of me that hopes that he looks at me and sees the work that I'm doing. And then maybe he might take it upon himself to do some work that he needs to do for himself. I don't know. That might be a pipe dream though.
I don't think I can take it anymore. All right. Did y'all hear that one again? Me. I'm doing all this work. What about me? I matter. We just had a session of the finishing school for the modern woman. And ladies, part of our feminine biology is that we are the nurturing ones. And maybe I'll have to break it to the masculine women amongst us, but that is our job to keep the home fires going. That is our job to keep the love alive. That is our job to continue to show love and be loved. Now, here's the thing. This is why you choose wisely. But this one also told on herself. I don't know if you all heard it in that epic rant, but did you hear her say, for 17 years, I willingly and happily was the, whatever she said, the quarterback. I planned it. I did things. So for some reason, all of a sudden now, 17 years into the marriage, she can't take it anymore. 17 years into the marriage, I can't be, emotionally here for both of us. 17 years into the marriage, now I matter. So, for me, I don't know how we got here, but it sounds like she saw something, heard something, read something, somebody got in her ear and let her know that what she was doing was way too much. But I didn't hear anything that sounded outrageous. Now, if you have become resentful, again, hiding in the closet and going to the internet to complain about it, it's not going to help you. If you feel like you are not getting the appreciation as a woman, why not have a conversation with your husband? Why not have this private matter, something that you two can work out? But something's not adding up, because she said she did it willingly and happily for 17 years. And ladies, this is what men are afraid of, that they'll marry us, provide for us, cover us, and then we'll switch up. And all of a sudden, we're not happy anymore. What would you add, Lucy?
Yeah, absolutely. Something is not adding up from someone that's been married 17 years. And the first thing you see on a, in a, self-proclamation video is her cleavage. The amount of cleavage couldn't be deeper. So again, that tells me that she's looking for something else. She's looking for the validation for, look at me and what I can show you. And she's probably getting some DMs in the background saying, oh, girl, no, you can do better, or I can make things be better. Knowing real well that she's got this man for 17 years, the fact that she's saying that she's been the emotional person for him, obviously he's probably shared some vulnerabilities, and now she's sharing it with the world. I mean, again, it goes back to being so ungrateful that she's not seeing the damage that she is causing to the husband, the disrespect, to the marriage, to the whole relationship thing, just because you're getting attention from some randos in social media that are probably just, not right in the head. And you're taking advice from those people rather than looking at yourself and saying, hey, you know what, 17 years with this man, we need to work. I need to work on making things better, because again, nobody makes us happy. We make ourselves happy. Find a hobby, find a finishing school to go to, find an elegance, etiquette, anywhere to go that you can make yourself happy, to then start seeing the world and the world that he has provided for those 17 years in a different light.
Such a good point. This reminds me of this other woman that's crashing out that we all know, who said she graduated from her relationship and now she's crying every moment, realizing that she blew up the best thing that she had. And ladies, you have to be very careful about this. We talked about this in the finishing school. When you start to win, or when you look like you're winning, not everybody wants you to win. And I don't know if she's surrounded herself with people who are saying you should have better. Go out on this dating market after 17 years with somebody and find somebody who's going to appreciate you, or not just use you for, an experience and move on. I think it is so disrespectful. And ladies, if you don't think that talking about your relationship in this way is disrespectful, you don't understand men. There are some secrets that you take to the grave. And again, I have not seen or heard anybody say anything that is egregious. She's just tired of being emotionally supportive to her husband. Well, I'm sorry, ladies. That's what a wife is. We are a support system. Now, if there's obviously some mental illness, then you need, you can see a professional, but coming to the internet just to complain when you willingly and happily did it for 17 years, you told on yourself. So, all right, let's go back and see what you all are saying in the chat. You all are enjoying this? Yes, the men will keep their distance. Go ahead. Let everybody know that you are not one to ever be taken seriously. Oh, my goodness. I'm just scrolling to see what you all are saying in the chat. Happy New Year, everybody. We didn't mean to come through. Jessica's in the chat. We didn't mean to come through with that fire, but here it is. Yeah, shut the front door. Y'all know what I meant to say. Killa says, this is great. I swear this type of feedback would have woken me up when I was a youngin'. Some of us need to be whipped into shape. All right, young ladies, don't let that be you. There is nothing worse to me than seeing an older woman in regret. And I've seen it personally when they had the opportunity and they drop the ball and everything can't be fixed. All right. Next level says, let him use you. Leanne says, what's the common denominator? Yeah, absolutely. Ladies, ask yourself, how did I get here? Another holiday alone? Discipled One says, ladies, the mirror of accountability is 100% accurate. Look into it every day. Rebecca says, these women putting things on social media is already a red flag. Absolutely. And ladies, like Lucy said, the accolades or the you go girl or the hand claps or whatever you're going to get that's going to falsely soothe you in the moment is not what you want. These women that are cheering you on, they're not going to come give you a bear hug from behind unless that's what you want. I don't know. But the ones that are encouraging you to blow up your relationship are going to be like, yeah, sorry to hear that. If you get that at all, and then they will move on to their happiness. Believe me. Or you can crash out and figure it out for yourself. Deron
or they're going to move on to the man that they were saying leave him, and then they will jump in and gladly take on that responsibility.
Oh, absolutely. Look, I'll be replacing paper towel rolls and picking up clothes off the floor to keep what I've got. Like, y'all, ladies today do not realize the value of men, the value of a relationship. You're looking at those small flaws like you have none of your own. Let's bring him on social media. Let's let him tell us your laundry list of things that he puts up with and doesn't like. You ready for that? Leanne says, I bet he's taking the financial lead. Yes, absolutely. And she's disrespecting him. The Condemned says, every time I hear women say, I do everything in a relationship, I start tuning them out because there ain't no way. So ladies, if you think you're going to get sympathy from the kind of men that you want, when you start this complaining, you've basically labeled yourself. You all know that I just came back from Ghana, a little bit of story time. The tour guide that I was with said that December is very busy. They call it solicitation season. And I was like, what does that mean? And he was talking about how a lot of American women or maybe Caribbean women or whatever are coming to other countries thinking that they can do the passport bro thing. But the problem, and ladies, I'll tell you what he said, you all come in talking trash about American men or the men that you've had. And so other men are just kind of like, why would I want that? You're not helping yourself by poo-pooing on what you couldn't keep together. So ladies, before you shoot your shot and embarrass yourself and step all the way outside of your league, you might want to work on the relationship skills and maintaining what you are already in or qualified for, because you are not going to sob story your way into the man of your dreams. Absolutely not going to happen. All right, let's go back in.
I will never forget getting in my car pissed, fuming, chasing my husband through the entire neighborhood because he left during an argument. And Like Christina, I learned how to be a wife the hard way so that you don't have to. I share real raw marriage lessons that everybody wants to hear, but nobody talks about. I was pulling in front of him, stopping, slamming on brakes, pulling to the side of him. A neighbor came out the house, told us we need to stop doing all that in the neighborhood. I told him we I was married. And
Oh, I think that she dropped off for whatever reason. I wasn't seeing the video, or maybe I dropped off.
While we're arguing, get in his car and proceed to leave. That is so disrespectful. That's worse than hanging up in somebody's
We
face.
hear
And the
we
fact that
hear
you're married
there's
to that
audio,
man.
but there's no video.
No, I'm here. Oh, okay. Let me go back. I don't know what happened. Sorry, y'all. Struggle streaming. I was able to hear and see. So let me go back and listen to this lovely lady. All right.
It's good.
I will never forget getting in my car pissed, fuming, chasing my husband through the entire neighborhood in his car because he left during an argument and I wasn't done talking. My name is Christina. I learned how to be a wife the hard way so that you don't have to. I share real raw marriage lessons that everybody wants to hear, but nobody talks about. I was pulling in front of him, stopping, slamming on brakes, pulling to the side of him. A neighbor came out the house, told us we need to stop doing all that in the neighborhood. I told him we need to go back inside the house and mind your business. Like, it got bad. And this was all because I didn't know how to handle conflict in my marriage. If I could talk to myself before I was married, even the things that I would say, the first thing I would have told myself is just because you're not done talking doesn't mean that someone has to finish listening.
I cut her off because she started talking foolish at the end. She said, she said, just because she's not done talking doesn't mean they're not done listening. That may be true, but I wish my man would walk away while we're arguing, get in his car, and proceed to leave. That is so disrespectful. That's worse than hanging up in somebody's face. And the fact that you're married to that man, that means y'all have already had that in the past. Now you're locked into that, running through the neighborhood looking crazy, about to have the neighbors call the police. But it seems like he's kind of you into believing because you were triggered by it. You see what I'm saying? Like, this is what these women are going through. Like, this other woman, she just says she realized how drained she is because she's been doing everything in her relationship. She's been planning it, cleaning it, fixing it, cooking it, wrapping it, presenting it, you know, and she's tired of doing that. And the other lady, not using his insurance, like, these men will literally abuse you behind the scenes. A lot of times they can't wait to get you by yourself and isolated. And a lot of the times marriage is one of those isolation points. And they'll just abuse you, whether it's like physical, financial, mental, emotional, um, even them just acting like they can't do housework. So now you just feel burdened by having to take on more tasks. Like, this is crazy. And a lot of times, let's just get into some more. I've said enough.
Yes, she has said enough. And I am very rarely speechless, but sometimes I don't even know what to say. Again, this woman has put together a montage of bad marriage moments to make other women who are single during the holidays, herself, feel better about being alone. What she just said about how men will abuse you, isolate you, and this is what happens in marriages. Ma'am, have you been married? Do you have any lived experience to speak of? How dare you generalize and talk about men being destructive when men take the burden in relationships? Men are the ones who, if the marriage does end, usually they're the ones that are devastated. I don't know any man that would willingly go into a marriage to be destructive to his wife. Men are conflict avoidant. I think that's what a lot of modern women don't understand, especially those of you all who run headfirst into traffic, always look for something, to start a fight about, like this foolish woman who chased her husband down the neighborhood streets because she wasn't done talking. And even the neighbors came out to say, stop driving reckless through the neighborhood. And she told the neighbors, get back in your house and mind your business. When you were out here being a menace to society, completely unruly. And then this woman who put together this montage, did you hear her when she said, I wish my man, the man that you don't have, because you put together this video about why it's so good to be single, but you're talking about your imaginary man. I wish my man would leave when I was speaking. Ladies, you do not understand how much self-control that men have. If a man leaves during a conversation, let him. You are putting yourself and everybody else in danger. Men know how to self-regulate. The men that we want, they know when it's time for them to exit. Allow them to exit. You assess how we got here and let that man go cool down on his own. But if you're one of these women that's always poking the bear, if you're one of these women, I'm not done talking, I'm gonna chase you down the neighborhood. How do you think that's gonna end? Do you think that man's gonna be like, okay, you know what, you're right, you told me? Or do you think it's gonna escalate because he's gonna see you as a threat and not as a woman who needs protecting? Ladies, you've got to think more, a few more steps ahead with this bad, unruly behavior. I'm so disgusted. What would you add, Lucy?
Yes, and the first young lady, she said that she had to learn the hard way to be a wife. I mean, that showed her following her husband after an argument. That is a clear indication that she lacks impulse control, that it is what it is, and she's going to do whatever she wants to do. I really, truly hope that she learned, but it's so scary to think that you're going to get to a point in an argument where you're going to put him, yourself, and everybody else around your neighborhood in danger. Because again, when you're in that kind of, when you're at that point, you're not thinking right and you're driving. What if, a neighbor's kid or a dog or a ball or whatever crosses? Do you imagine the tragedy that you were putting yourself into? Again, and that goes back to women not being able to control their emotions. Thank you, baby. My husband, he just delivered something. And it's so scary. And then the woman in the red saying that she wishes she had a man walk away like that from her. And she's talking about men like they are the worst of the worst. And in my mind, I'm thinking, okay, has she made those choices on those men? Or is she just talking about all the stuff that she sees in social media because she's not capable of holding one single relationship, successful relationship? So again, it is kind of, to start the 2025 with something this chaotic. I had no idea that it was this chaotic, Maggie. I am so sorry, but for me, it's kind of, I learn a lot to see bad behavior. I can remember I used to have a colleague at work that whenever she got into arguments with a male coworker, she would follow him to end the fight. And me, the introvert, I'm here going, this is not normal behavior. This is at work. Why are you doing this? And that showed me the kind of person, combative person that she was. Even though she was, she's a Christian, she goes to church and she goes to all of these places that, would make me think that she's a very kind person. That single behavior gave me a red flag saying, yeah, I'm not really sure about this personality. So again, that goes back to about us women looking at other women's behavior and keeping track of the good behavior and the bad behavior that you want to stay away from you and your safe environment.
Yeah, I mean, I just cannot even imagine what these women are talking about. But let me say thank you to Suave D again with the $10. He says, Happy New Year, lovelies. Thank you so much for that and the compliment. And then our moderator, the International Quiet Storm, is here saying, for the safety of both of us, I will leave whether she likes it or not. These modern women have no idea that some men are trained to delete at a moment's notice. You better believe we have self-control. And I've seen this, lady. Thank you, the International Quiet Storm. Ladies, some of you all that are hotheads, some of you all that, think you can continue to escalate. As we say, your mouth is writing a check that your behind cannot cash. And I do not advocate for violence at all, but you have to allow men. It is a blessing and a beautiful thing when a man realizes, okay, you know what, I need to leave, because he's already envisioned what's happened next. And if you knew what he envisioned, it would terrify you. These women that follow men, show up unannounced, look through phones. Y'all know who you are. Just always, trying to live on that edge of just like you get a thrill out of it. You are not built for relationships. You just need to either be by yourself or just do something casual over there, because life is always going to present an opportunity for you to get offended. And this is what we talked about in the finishing school. Ladies, that self-control, that's got to be something that you work on. If you want something that lasts, you will just continue to be fire hot and crash out over and over again. That's what's going to happen to you. Let's see what you all are saying in the chat, especially the men. Next Level says, following a man is a prescription for danger. And then I'm going to say it, this idiot woman is on the internet telling everybody in the world that, oh yeah, this is what I did to my last husband. I wasn't done talking, so I followed him through the neighborhood. Who wants to sign up for that? Like, to me, it is obviously you all want to be single. Okay, we will let you. Oh my goodness. Let's see what you all are saying. Yeah, one of the downfalls going to social media. I don't understand it. Aaron Laura says men are far more disciplined than women. It's true. And I see this, being a boy mom with teenagers. Like, sometimes I used to get mad, they would just kind of like go for a walk. But then I had to realize they are training themselves to not do everything or say everything that they feel or think. Ladies, do you have that self-control? Or if you feel like if it comes in your head, is it going to come out of your mouth too? And then are you ready for the consequence that comes along with that? Like, Mean Old Mister will tell you, I'm going to help you mean what you say. And that'll be the last time. You get one time in a row. And that one time in a row, you can't come back from that. Disciple says, if you act like a lady, you get treated like one. If you act like a man, then you get treated like one. Choose wisely. That gave me a shudder. Not in a good way. The International Quiet Storm says, and I am one of the nicest people you will ever meet in real life. Maggie can attest to this. Yes, the International Quiet Storm is a gentle giant. But ladies, it is so true that what Lucy said about what's real. You can't find any relationship, that woman complaining in the closet, being married for 17 years, any relationship that's lasted time, there's going to be ups and downs. But I think it says a lot about the person. I mean, the woman who put this montage together, it says a lot about you to scour the internet and to scrub the bottom of the ocean floor and to pick up all of the outbursts and crashing out and, women disrespecting their husband, and then bundle that together and tie a little raggedy bow on it and say, here, single women, here's your encouragement that it's not so bad. After all, what does that say about you that you're picking the rotten fruit to display? What does that say about you that you're looking for people who are having bad moments and like shining a flashlight on that? To me, that just says a lot about her. I'm just disgusted by it. Shapeshifter says, Happy New Year, ladies. Keep pushing that femininity and keep bringing awareness. Very important topic. Thank you. I'm glad you all like it. Next Level says, a vandalizer. Yes. And Shapeshifter says, Maggie, you're speaking facts. Disrespect can get you deleted in a man's world. God. Yeah, I don't think women really understand how protected we are just by being women. This would not fly with men amongst themselves. Let's go back in.
Sarah, I like reading people's anonymous confessions on Reddit, and I'll share with you some. So here we go. The title of this confession is, I am starting to hate my husband. I am a 30-year-old female, and I'm starting to hate my husband, who is 33. Everything he does is becoming annoying. I cater to him, honestly. I clean the entire house and take care of the kids and also work, bringing in way more income than him. I also cook all our meals. At this point, it's just like, what added value is he bringing to my life if I'm primarily taking care of the kids, raising the kids, financially contributing more, and oh, here is the kicker. I also do more when it comes to S. It's becoming a growing resentment that I'm pouring into his cup and no one is pouring into mine other than myself. What is getting me is that we live in a world where we toss relationships left and right over frustrations. So I'm not leaning towards a divorce or leaving him because he is a good guy. But is he a great partner? Debatable. But is this for the worst part of my marriage because simply I just can't?
Some things that my soon-to-be ex-husband used to do that I did.
All right, I'm going to try and collect myself and give some tangible things that hopefully are helpful to the young women listening, because I've been ranting. So this woman who likes to read stories about bad marriages, let's see what we can learn from this. So if you heard whoever this anonymous person was, she was complaining that she cooks, she cleans, she takes care of the home, she raises the kid, she works, she makes more than him, and she's basically tired of pouring into his cup. Ladies, this is why we tell you to choose wisely, and this is why I say you have to date with intention. These are conversations that have to be had in the beginning of a relationship. What are the expectations? What am I going to be doing? What are you going to be doing? That woman, my heart goes out to her if it's real. Who knows what's real on social media? But my heart goes out to her if you are basically wearing all of the hats. You did not, with respect, choose wisely, or something has happened where that man is completely checked out. Ladies, we are not supposed to be all things. If you heard her again, she says, yes, he's a good guy, but is he a good partner? I'm not hearing any life partnering there. Now, that man may have his own laundry list of things, but again, this is a conversation that you have with your husband. Hey, babe, I'm feeling a little bit exhausted. Even, she said, in the intimate part, she has to initiate that. Ladies, when that's the case, either you didn't marry a man that desires you. Maybe you bullied him into getting married. I'm just trying to think of all the reasons why a man would check out. Maybe he's tried to talk to you and you've just been so difficult that he said, you know what? Have it your way, Burger King. But this is not normal. And I don't want the young women who are really looking forward to marriage to think that it's going to be this shackle on your life. Yes, it's going to be difficult, but that's why we believe in traditional gender roles. Being a wife is a role, it is a job, and you need to know what you are happy to do and you are better at in the relationship, and your husband or husband to be needs to be able to communicate the same. This is why you date. You date to see if we have compatible life goals and can we ride this thing out for the long term. It is not about putting on a dress and going to a restaurant that you can't afford so you can take a stupid picture and put it on social media and you know nothing about what life is going to be like with this man. Is he a husband, or is he just somebody who's got a jawline that you like and you're just happy to be there? And so you think the next logical step is we're going to get married, and he's like, well, I never wanted that, you wanted all of this, so go ahead and have it your way. So before I get worked up again, ladies, this is where it can go if you do not date with intention. This is where it can go if you do not open up your mouth and say, you know what? I would prefer to make sure that the home is taken care of. You know, I don't mind working, but I don't want to be the breadwinner. I don't want to put myself in that type of role. I think I'm going to be better as a support system. Make sure you say that and make sure that the man that you're dating is aligned with that, and you can avoid problems like this. What would you add, Lucy?
I absolutely agree. Get back to dating with intention. Get back to understanding what he wants from a relationship and what you want from a relationship, and come together whether you can connect or not. Thank you, TIQS. That's a great question. I wrote it in the chats. The International Quiet Storm says, Maggie, did you see a difference with the ladies in Ghana compared to the ones in Atlanta? If yes, what was the biggest difference you noticed?
Where do I even begin? Let me tell you something that I saw overseas, and we're going to have to do a part 2 of this. Women are raised to appreciate family and respect men from the beginning. Modern women, these first world problems, men are expected to prove that they have value before women give them the time of day. That is not how it is in other cultures. Women know that we need men. In developing countries, and Lucy has talked about this, if you all have heard her, and a lot of men in this space have talked about these first world problems. My man will tell you, we've made it too comfortable for y'all. We've made it too easy where you think that men are just disposable. In other countries where there's still a lot of work to do, there's still a lot of building to do, women can look at that and say, oh no, I do not have the back to do that. This is everything that I'm willing to bring. The paper towels. I will replace the paper towels. I do not want to go pour concrete. I do not want to be up at the crack of dawn and driving trucks or whatever. I saw that women also prioritize relationship in their youth. I saw so many young families. That was what was so heartwarming to me. Everywhere that I went, there were women with babies, we carried them on our back with the wrap. I saw, kids. I saw young couples. I saw people creating a life and a legacy early because they were raised to value it. They didn't spend 20 years doing whatever they want to do. One of the things that frustrates me, and I've never said this publicly, but I'm going to say it. Y'all got me hot today. In this space, I should have about 10 Lucys. I should have women my age flanking us, and we should be schooling the young women. But what I have is the women that should be teaching are still learning. And I'm going to say it, I'm sick of it. I'm absolutely sick of it. This is unacceptable. There is no reason why you should get to the good old age of 40, 50, 60, and you're coming for dating advice. You're coming for relationship advice. What have you been doing? This is not how it works. And when you look at other cultures that have been successful for centuries, we know what works, but we're too stubborn. We're too comfortable. We think we know it all. Women are telling each other, get rid of your husband because you have other opportunities. And then you find yourself alone and you have that regret for the rest of your life. So I could go on and on, but that was the biggest thing. Modern women, you are behind. And if you do not turn the tide on this, the future is bleak because the men are just not. They're just not going to suffer foolishness. I'm trying to calm down. Anyway, all right, Lucy. You want to do one more? This is a 30-minute video, and I don't think I can take
one
it.
more, and then we'll do part 2 on Wednesday.
Okay. I see you all on Instagram too. Yes, let's see what y'all are saying in the comments, and then we'll go through another one. So, oh my goodness, there's more coming through. Oh. The condemned man coming through with the $100. Oh my goodness, y'all. Thank you. I'm trying to stay in my feminine space. Y'all just got me hot. The condemned says, for starting 2025 off right, Keep up this excellent content, you two. Thank you. Thank you. We appreciate you all so much. A lot of men in my family. I'm a boy mom. I just see how much men suffer in silence, and I get enraged. It's just unacceptable. So ladies, if your mother didn't teach you how to be a good woman and to a good man, you're missing out, and you are behind, and you will be left alone. So you have to decide what you want life to look like when you're 50, like me almost. Thank you for the 1999. See, darling says thank you both. Okay, even the robots are talking to me. But thank you all so much. Suave D coming in with the men. The men like us a little bit hot, Lucy. We tried it. What happened to the holy house of femininity? Like, we try to create this space where it's warm and welcoming and loving. And, this is your oasis. And Lucy picks the videos, and I just set it up, and we come here and react. But hopefully some of our rants are helpful. I'm going to try and bring myself down. But thank you all.
Well, this is tough love. It's coming in a way that we are telling you, young ladies, that, just because social media and other women that have no idea on how to have a successful relationship are telling you that that's not reality. You haven't met the women that have had successful relationships with good men next to them that have provided us with everything and continue to provide us, because, Maggie and I, we're set. We are trying to give you what we have so you can be on your 50s and 60s, ready to take on that later section of your life peacefully with a man that loves you and that will set you up for success. That man will have a fund, something for you when he thinks that he's no longer going to be for you. But you have to put in that work. It just doesn't come in just because you're sitting there not doing anything. Relationships do take work. Relationships do take patience, empathy, nurturing. It takes all of these things that if you refuse to do it, then you're not going to be successful in your relationships.
Oh my goodness, the men are coming out of the woodworks. Thank you, y'all. We touched a nerve today. It's supposed to, I'm still holding on to the holidays, but it's over. We're kicking the door down respectfully and elegantly. Cryptonomics with the $20 saying, laying the truth down, keeping the modern day female accountable is a whole genre on YouTube. Good job. I'm going to try and bring myself down again. Ladies, in all seriousness, and I'm so glad that Lucy said it. Lucy has told me this privately for months. Maggie, we have our men. We are set. And I don't mean to be obtuse in any kind of way, but I had to tell one woman that I was coaching, the women that are happy in their relationships, they're quiet. Because why should they stop what they've built to come here and help you? So the internet is forever. You will hear it or not. It'll land when you're ready to hear it. But I've changed my streaming schedule in 2025 because Mr. has asked me to kind of scale some things back. He's making plans for me. And I'm here until I'm not. And Lucy and I both prioritize our own relationships. And, I'll say it again, ladies. Lucy and I were both married young, both had divorces after 10 years, and now are back in relationships. Me, long-term, Lucy, remarried. And we speak from our own lived experience. And for us to be two women that are so pro-relationship, I think it says a lot that these women who I would argue have never been married, have never gone through the pain of divorce, have never really done anything significant, are feeding this poison to keep other women single so that they feel better about themselves. When you go through a divorce, when you go through a breakup, that is the time to, again, withdraw and get introspective. And I learned a painful lesson. I thought all my accomplishments mattered. They didn't. So I learned I have to humble myself and get on the program. Got it together second time around, happier than I've ever been. And like Lucy said, you know what? We're trying to give you all some insight that will help you. But if not, you will find yourself another year older, another holiday season single, looking for answers. You have the answers if you choose to listen to it. So thank you again for all of the men coming through in the International Quiet Storm with the $20. Oh my goodness. Saying, Maggie, look at me and listen. Yes, sir. The truth will always get the approval of men. Femininity is a superpower, but the truth is infinite power. Thank you. I already feel calmer. I love that. Thank you so much. All right, so we'll go back in and listen to one more clip. Hopefully I can keep my blood pressure reduced. And then we will do a part 2 because this is a lot and not in a good way. All right, let's go back in one more.
Didn't realize wasn't normal until after I left. When the Wi-Fi guy came to install our internet, he made me FaceTime him the entire time because he said that I might try and sleep with him. And then he still accused me of sleeping with him, saying that I could have slept with him before I called him or after I hung up the phone. Didn't tell me happy birthday until right before I fell asleep on my birthday, 2 months after we got married. Gaslit and manipulated me into not having a job and said, I just want you to be a stay-at-home wife. And then when like money problems would come up or any kind of issue with me would come up, he would complain about how I didn't have a job and how I'm just mooching off of him. Only came home and ate dinner with me maybe twice a week because he was at his parents' or his brother's house. He did not get me a Christmas present, but instead he gave me his debit card and said, don't know what you want. You got $50. Go get yourself something nice. Complained and told me that I was folding his clothes wrong when he never ever did laundry, wash clothes, nothing. He told me over a year after we'd been married and I was pregnant that he wanted multiple wives, and then he was upset that I was upset about it. Got pissed when my parents bought us groceries one time. Told me that he didn't believe that our son was his son, and when I said get a paternity test, he said, I don't even want to because it could be so close to my brother's DNA that you probably slept with that it would just say that it was mine and I would still never know. When the electricity went out in 2 of our rooms, including a bathroom, and our washing machine was broken, and I tried to get him to fix it for about 9 months, he told me that I should have been more grateful and that it was a test to me because people back in the olden days didn't have that kind of stuff, so I should have just been grateful that I had it in the first place, even if it was broken. Okay, that's all for now. Bye!
I can't. Okay, we got another super chat. Let me stay positive. Thank you. Discipled One says, love what you said. You should be flanked with women like myself, teaching younger women instead of coaching other women. Yeah. All right, ladies. This woman with the laundry list of things that she doesn't like about her husband. The whole time she was going down this laundry list of maybe it's true, maybe it's not, but what can we learn from this? The whole time she was ranting, I was thinking, if we let her get all of that out and then pushed pause, gave the mic to her husband and said, okay, your turn. List all the things that you don't like about her. Ladies, I'm going to tell you what Mr. said. This is why men don't like therapy, because you're really not trying to get better. You just want somebody to listen to all you have to say. Then when it's the man's time to say, okay, let me tell you what I've been struggling with, this is when you go nuclear. Now, if this is true and she has all these crazy things that her husband did to her, again, how well did you vet your compatibility? Everybody is not supposed to be together. Everybody is not fit for marriage. Just because you've been dating somebody doesn't mean that he's a husband, doesn't mean that you're a wife. Lucy and I have a wife lessons class. You can watch it on demand. Go to teachablemomentswithmaggie.com. If you don't know how to determine husband qualities, if you're just dating somebody because you like the way that they look, and then you realize you married a monster, well, you know, I'm sorry to hear that, but ladies, you've got to do better. This is why we have fathers and uncles and men in the community that can see if the man that you're dating has the stability to carry a relationship through. All these crazy things that she was saying, you know, he made me FaceTime him when the service people were here. Let me just say this, especially for the young ladies. That is not normal. And that is not most men. Men are good and kind, and men protect and they love. And, you know, men are busy and working hard. Normal men, good, average, high value, whatever you want to call them, real men are not trying to micromanage the way that you move. So if you found yourself in a relationship with someone that has such poor character, what does that say about you, that you missed all of those red flags and ran towards the altar, and now you're on the internet again complaining about who you picked? Why did you pick him? Why did you think that was a good decision? And, you know, I say this as a divorcee. I had to look at, what did I allow? But that was for me to settle with myself and do better the next time, not to sit here and just rant about all the things that somebody else did. Where is the accountability? And ladies, no man that you want is going to look at that and say, that's the woman for me. What would you add, Lucy?
Nah, there's so much just, you know, make believe or, you know, completely, you know, little instances that she has, you know, timed it to 100. I guarantee you that was a bad relationship to begin with. And she had a baby, and then he married her because of that baby. I wish I knew what the history is, but I can tell you that that's probably what happened. And then the guy felt himself trapped, and now he's giving her all of these other things to make her make the decision to split. Because men are not the ones. Listen, when a man gets to the point to say, you know what, I want out, it's because he is absolutely done. He's giving her the opportunity to say, you know what, this man is not for me. I'll break it off. That's how I feel. That's how I see it. Maybe I'm completely off, but I just, my spidey senses tell me that story that she's saying, those little instances, they're just something. There's a lot more to that.
Yeah, that is such a good point. And ladies, circling back to when a man tries to walk away, look at how you chase him through the neighborhood. Look at how you follow him out the door. Look at how you act like you don't know how to disagree without being disagreeable. It is very risky for men. And I said that. It is very risky for men to end relationships. And I was thinking about some of the damage that they go through, you know, financially and emotionally. And it's hard on us too, ladies, but we have this whole support system and everybody's going to woo us into being okay. But Lucy brings up an excellent point. Maybe if you're with a man who has checked out, maybe he's just marking time and waiting for you to leave. I have heard men say that they will do whatever they need to for you to break up with them. So you can feel like you won, like you got that point, like you dumped him, when the whole time he was already checked out and he was just waiting for you to put that final nail in the coffin. Because if he leaves and you've already shown yourself as a hothead, you've already shown yourself as someone who's unruly, you can't have a disagreement without going nuclear. You can't just keep your business in your own home. You got to take it out on the street for the neighbors to see. You have to come on the internet to list all the things that you don't like about your relationship. I understand why a man would just basically treat you like a piece of furniture until you say, you know what, I can do better. And then you've got the sisterhood to say, yeah, girl, you can do better. And then he'll go off and live his quiet life. Ladies, I don't know how we got here. We had a great class session today, but this is just a lot. But this video, I have, it's in the description. It is a 30-minute video. We only made it 11 minutes. So we're going to have to do a part 2 or 3, but in all of our rants, hopefully for the young ladies that still believe in marriage and family, take it from 2 older women. It is definitely worth it. It is work. We don't want to sell you a pipe dream and make you think that it's a cakewalk. But when you get our age, you don't want to be out here dating. You don't want to be out here starting over. I see it in women that are still looking for that pot of gold at the end of the rainbow, still waiting for that Hollywood ending, thinking somebody's going to come rescue them from themselves when they're 40, 50, 60. I had a 70-year-old woman reach out to me. I don't know what to do with that, ladies. So please, for the love of all things, in your youth, choose wisely and be a good woman to a good man. What would you say to close us out, Lucy?
I want to say I'm sorry. I got you going, Maggie. But I think that this is an important topic to talk about, because we are doing a disservice to the younger women that really believe in relationships, in marriage, and the happily ever after. You can make that happily ever after knowing that there's going to be ups and downs in those relationships. And that's what makes that relationship happy in the end. You know, it teaches us to communicate, to coexist with that significant other that chose us. You just have to get information from those women that are happy, that look forward to being with their husbands or their boyfriends or their significant others, and understand that life has ups and downs no matter what. Nobody's going to make you happy. You have to make yourself happy. So I'm hoping that after, seeing part 2, you can understand that we're doing this with love, wanting to make our society and our younger generation thrive as tradition has thrived, for centuries. So again, thank you for being here. Happy New Year, all. Thank you, Maggie. Sorry, it was such a heavy topic, but I think we can manage it.
No, we can absolutely manage it. I was just over here having a little bit of a tantrum. But again, you all, this was TikTok Town Hall. Never heard of it. But the premise of this video, just for anybody who just hopped in, this woman who herself is single, I don't know if she's ever been married. It's a nameless, faceless channel. I think that says a lot. Lucy and I come on here to speak about our own lived experience, and I'm always telling on myself, but I think it's a lot. We call it throwing rocks and hiding your hands. This woman is basically saying, you know what? I'm single during the holidays just like you, but ladies, don't worry about it. Here's a montage of all kind of bad marriage moments so you can feel better about being alone during the holidays. I think it's sick and I think it's destructive. So we were going through the montage and then also reacting to some of these women who made the comments. I'll close with this. Lucy said it. Ladies, I always ask myself when I look at other people, would I trade places with them? Do I want their life? And that's how I determine if I listen to what they say with a grain of salt or I really listen to what they say. So if you want relationship, young ladies, you are going to have to be intentional about the people that you listen to, what you consume. You're going to have to be intentional about the friends that you have. You want to be around other women that value relationship. If you are the only one in your friend group that wants marriage and family, and you're surrounded by a bunch of bitter and unruly women who talk down on men, you could lose out on the best thing that you've ever had, because no man is going to want to pry you away from, this, these clucking hens and think that that's not going to influence you. You are going to have to be that salmon swimming upstream, just like I told the women in the finishing school. Hopefully on this channel, you feel like you have a support system, because Lucy and I do want to be the older women to teach the young, because if we keep going the way that we're going, it's not going to be good. All right. So we had one last super chat come in. I want to say thank you to everybody. Oh, two more came in. Next Level says, this is going to be hard to top, ladies. Thank you. It feels great to have women advocate for men. Thank you so much. You are most welcome. Sunkissed at $4.99 says, the silent suffering of men is totally ignored. I'm a boy mom and I had a wonderful father. Oh, yeah, that just breaks my heart. Thank you, Discipled One, for the $19.99. Thank you, the International Quiet Store, for the $20. Cryptonomics for the $20. Swab D for the $5. C. Darling for the $20. International Quiet Store multiple times coming through. But our stream sponsor for today at $100 is none other than the Condemned Man. So Lucy and I will be here with you all twice a week. We'll be back Wednesday at 9 p.m. Eastern for part 2 of this TikTok town hall mess. But hopefully those of you all who still value relationships got something that you can learn from and do better. So with that said, I'm going to collect myself. Thank you all for watching on Facebook, on YouTube, on TikTok. This podcast is available on YouTube. Let's Talk with Maggie and Lucy, as well as YouTube Music. So with that said, until next time, we will say adios.